Hey, good morning, everyone. How are you? So today we'll try to understand timeout behavior in Fusion custom webhooks. Okay, so let's imagine a situation. You've created a custom webhook, and that webhook is acting like an API. Okay, it's supposed to fetch data from a third-party application and push it back to the calling application. Okay, that's its job, right? Now, how does this actually happen? This is done using a shared worker pool. Okay, so when you call the custom webhook or let's say API, the shared worker pool is responsible for performing all the background activities. Okay, it fetches the response, sends it back to the calling application. Okay, but here's the catch: if that shared worker pool is already busy doing other background tasks, your request might get delayed for sure. Okay. And in that case, a timeout will be triggered after 40 seconds for sure. Okay. Now, what does this timeout mean? Okay. Um, if your request isn't processed within 40 seconds, Fusion will return a 200 accepted response. Okay. Not the actual API response. Remember that. Okay. That's because it timed out, right? And the original request, okay, is actually stored in a in a queue. Okay, and once the worker pool becomes available, it will be processed. Okay, but since the timeout already occurred, the actual response won't be returned to the calling application or calling system. Let's say it's too late. Okay, now how can we avoid this? Okay, let's say it's a critical API or a high priority custom webhook. How do we prevent timeouts? Simple: create or let's say assign a dedicated worker pool for this specific custom webhook. Okay, when you have a dedicated worker pool, it listens only to that webhook. Okay, so the requests are processed quickly, no delays, because the worker isn't busy with other tasks, right? Um, so how do we set this up? You'll need to engage the Adobe Fusion team for this and request a dedicated worker pool for your custom webhook. Okay, that's what you need to do. Now, you might ask this question: What is a worker pool? Think of worker pool like a helper or a shared helper. Let's say um, is helping multiple people. Um, so if you assign them a task, they might already be busy, right? Because they are helping multiple people. That's when the delays happen, or the timeout, uh, uh, or the timeout happens, right? But if you have a dedicated helper, okay, they're only helping you. They'll take care of your task immediately with no delay, right? Okay, that, that's the idea behind avoiding timeouts by using a dedicated worker pool. Okay, so you are hiring a dedicated helper, and then that helper is only for you, and there won't be any timeouts. Okay, I hope this was helpful. Have a great day.